Okay, je do passion. Ce n'est pas fini. That's just French for you to know that we are set for today's edition, and almost everything is coming all the way from France. Yesterday, we saw how it all went down out there between the host country, talk about the Low Blues, and of course the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And that's why we're starting by telling you, je do passion and ce n'est pas fini, which literally means that the waiting game continues, and of course it is not finished for the Super Falcons. With me today to do justice to the program is Patrick Omorodo. Pat, you're welcome to this program.
It's a pleasure being here again, once again, Tony. Thank God for the rains, even though they didn't stop us from coming.
Okay, thank you so much. The rain must always fall, but here we have a duty to perform, and that performance is just to let you know about the anxious moment, that the Falcons have put Nigeria, and of course, the controversy, if it was a controversy. I was just one of my producers, I was just telling him off the camera now that it was not a controversy. So many Nigerians, Twitter and Facebook, everything is on fire. So many people talking about controversy, talking about Nigeria being cheated. Was Nigeria cheated? That's why you must listen to this program to get the best of analysis concerning, Nigeria's defeat yesterday by France. Just 1-0. Nigeria needed a draw, to avoid this unnecessary wait. But as it is now, Nigeria is going to wait till tomorrow before they know their whether to be or not to be. We're going to take a look on that VAR, on Chiamaka Nnadozie, her movement and everything, and of course also talk about Michel Platini. He's a legend, of course, a French legend. He has been arrested as we speak now. The man is cooling off, with security people. And also the AFCON, just days to the African Cup of Nations kickoff out there in the land of the Pharaohs. Talk about the in Egypt. We are going to be hearing more about Mikel Obi, and of course talk about Alex Iwobi and so many other things. We are counting down to this program, and remember that Patrick Omorodo, who is with me here, is going to be in the land of the Pharaohs, and Pat will be bringing a lot of in-swinger stories you will never read or see, or things you see anywhere, to this program, and of course to your favorite takeaway Vanguard newspapers. That's how we do it once it comes to competitions. And of course, without wasting much of time, Pat, we saw the Super Falcons on display yesterday. So many people, have been applauding them, for their doggedness, for their resilience, something that we've never seen in the last matches that they played. They came out and of course they fought like wounded lions, but of course could not withstand, the French Low Blues, who have picked all the 9 points in that group and then kept our own Super Falcons waiting.
Tony, when I watched that game yesterday and listened to the cries of people, I remember that song of Sunday or Wendy, because this VAR controversy has made it possible for people to cry and laugh. When it favors you, you smile. When it doesn't favor you cry.
Absolutely.
Because many things happened yesterday, but to me, I believe the Super Falcons were not disgraced. Even though they lost by 1 goal through that penalty. They did their best, because after they lost in a friendly to the same team a year ago, 8-0. So most people were thinking they would be roasted yesterday. But unfortunately for those people, Falcons disappointed them and they lived up to the expectation. But one thing again, I tell you, Tony, is that I still doubt the real capacity of that coach to handle this national team, because what we saw yesterday was
Thomas Deneby.
Yes, Deneby didn't put. I didn't see any input into the team, because we expected a team, like they say, the best form of attack, defense is attack. If he had attacked the French people, they wouldn't have time to be pressurizing us and always playing in our half, and that resulted into that pressure that caused that penalty that people are arguing over today. So I don't think the Falcons were disgraced. They played, but unfortunately they lost. But it's not over, like you said. We'll have to wait for the outcome of today's matches and tomorrow's matches to know how they go. But like you see, already let us give to China, because China has qualified already as best loser from Group Group B, sorry, because they have 4 points already. Then today's match between Jamaica and Australia is another decider for Falcons that we're waiting for, because already right now the Australian team has 3 points because they beat Brazil nobody expected that victory.
Yeah.
You know, so already they are very in a very good stead to pick that point, because even if they lose, but I don't see them losing to Jamaica by wide margin. So let us assume that they will lose to Jamaica, but they won't lose to they won't lose by a wide margin that will make them get -3, which we have already. So assume again that Australia has taken a slot, so two slots gone. So the remaining slots for Nigeria now is the remaining 2 slots, because fellow Africans, Cameroon, they are playing against New Zealand, another weak team, but Cameroon has -3, so Cameroon must beat New Zealand by 2 goals,
2 or 3 goals.
Even they beat 2-0.
Okay,
They
it's
have
enough
for them. Then the other group again is Chile, because Chile also has to beat Thailand, and Thailand, like people say, they are the animal shan of the group. You know, they are donuts. They donate goals to everybody. So I think what we'll be praying, Nigerians will be praying that Cameroon does not beat New Zealand by more than a goal, and Chile does not beat Thailand more than 3 or 4, because they need 3 goals. Because by 3 goals they will tie with Nigeria -2, but they will have scored more goals, 3-2, which will give them the edge. So I think it's all boiled down to prayers and hope for now.
Okay, prayers and hope. And why should it be us praying all the time? As in, people should do their work. Pat, you just said something about Thomas Deneby, and I'm quite surprised, because almost everybody yesterday, people were just raising and of course clapping, applauding, you know, the Swedish, that he did so well with the Super Falcons, you know, by at least the type of performance that we saw them play. But beyond that, let's also tell you that what we are analyzing here, that remaining 4 best third teams, you know, from the 6 groups, you know, who will now join the 2 top teams, you know, into the round of 16. That's what we are doing, and that's the waiting game that we are all waiting for here. But let's still not leave VAR alone. You've talked so much and beautifully well too about VAR, you know, likening it to Sunday wind. You know, if it favors you, VAR is the best. If it doesn't favor you, VAR is, as in, I've been reading Facebook, social media is you know, alight everywhere. People saying that Nigeria was cheated. Was Nigeria cheated? Because I saw, you know, before they got to the day they arrived in France, they were welcomed, and one of the first things, 2 things FIFA, you know, lectured them was on drugs, and second one was on the new rules, which includes the line, the goalkeeper's line. Your leg must be on the line and not move before the kick is taken. And of course, before the penalty was taken yesterday, we only saw the referee going to, you know, talk with Chiamaka Nnadozie, the beautiful goalkeeper of the Super Falcons. Is it right for Nigerians to say that they have been cheated?
Tony, I won't ascribe to that insinuation, because I don't think anybody was cheated yesterday. Because normally when new rules come, FIFA organizes seminars for technical advisors of teams, you know, and the coach and maybe Secretary General. So, but I believe that our people would have gone to that seminar and seen or listened to them. Even though I know that the player will find it difficult to get accustomed to it. But again, if you are a player and this thing is taught to you, I mean, even right there when the referee went to the goalkeeper to tell her, please put your legs on the line. You know, and it's not supposed to be the 2 legs at the same time. Yeah. At least 1 leg must be on the line.
Exactly.
But if you saw when they played back that thing, you see that her 2 legs were off the line. So that is no excuse. So whether the penalty was scored or not, as long as she had moved, so that is enough for it for the goal or for she to be penalized. So, but I don't think people should be if they make rules and we don't see, they say ignorance is no excuse in law. So if we don't get accustomed to the rules and we fall prey of it, we shouldn't be crying.
So, but why should Thomas Deneby? He should know, you know, having coached Sweden itself, and of course a coach of that high caliber, that Thomas Deneby, I listened to him at a post-match conference where he was crying foul, you know, over the decision and the red card that followed and all those things. One will always think that coaches, when you ask them like that, they will tell you that they will just wait until they watch the replay of those actions, you know. But he was speaking even before seeing some of these things, and we have watched this over and over. I watched it with you over and over, you know, yesterday, even before coming, you know, to this show, to see that indeed Chiamaka Nnadozie stepped out of the line.
Tony, if he doesn't cry, if he doesn't make excuses, what will you tell the employers? He's trying to make excuses that the employers think he knows what he's doing, he's living up to the expectation. But to me, he failed as a coach by not throwing his team very well on the rules of the game. And again, see, Tony, a coach that knows that his team needed at least a draw in that match to qualify. There was no need playing defensive. You know, they were so defensive, and then after some time, the pressure was on, and I knew that they would crack. Because if you were attacking, the opposing team will not have time to come to your 18 and be playing, and maybe cause penalty for you. But I believed that he's also a coach that plays big names. You know, if you have young players on the bench who could take your opponents on the run, that is why you see Westerhoff, to me, and maybe to some extent Bonfrey, they are good coaches, because if you remember in their time, we had players like somebody like if you remember Vilosa, he was always taking opponents on the run. Anytime he has ball, the defense of the opponent side is in disarray. So those are the kind of players we needed yesterday to put the French team on panic, so that they will not have time to be coming to your defense. But he was playing defensive, and most times the ball was played in our house. So I expected that crack to come in and the penalty to come at any time. So like I said, the players did very well, coming down from 8-0 to lose narrowly by 1 goal. I mean, they tried their best to me.
Okay, that's a great improvement. Patrick Omorodel's analysis, you know, from 8-0 in the friendly they played with the same French national team, coming to lose narrowly, you know, that the national team of the Nigeria is absolutely doing well. But let's also look at the rear guard, you know, the back four of the Super Falcons. I was impressed. There was so much pressure. They soaked up the pressure. Talk about Onome Ebi, you know, Sinachi Ohale, Chidema Okeke, Ngozi Ebere. You know, these were the players. They were all there. They soaked up and of course, even with intimidating French fans all over the stadium that was filled to capacity, you know, the defense managed to keep them at bay. I think it's one area that we should also, you know, give credit to whom is due. You know, that these players could withstand such ferocious attacks.
Yes, especially when you consider the first game they played against Norway, where they lost 3-0. The defense was disorganized. Exactly. But yesterday they tried to do what they needed to do to check the French team. But unfortunately, Ngozi Ebere, who was in front, she was in front, and the French girl caught up with her. No, I expected her to shield the player, push her aside instead of kicking. So that was what caused that thing. But I think it was a little bit of panic that caused that. You know, if she had run faster and blocked her, then that player would not have the chance to fall, because it just needed a little push, and she fell professionally.
And she was emotional.
Yes, she fell professionally, and the free kick, the goal penalty was given. So I think the defenders tried their best yesterday. But Tony, my patriotism will end at this stage, because by the next round, when they go for second round, Tony, is either they are meeting Italy or they are meeting Germany.
But before we get to that, you're still listening to Vanguard Online, and of course the sporting segment of Vanguard Online. We call it Sporting Vanguard, where you get the best of analysis, you know, from people who have been in sports for decades and decades, who know the rules. We are looking at the rules. Nigeria did not get the rules well yesterday, and of course they were punished for it, and that is why everybody is waiting. The Super Falcons themselves are waiting, and this wait is going to be a very long wait. They wait until tomorrow before all the matches are concluded, and then you look at the 4 best third teams, you know, from the 6 groups, you know, who will now join, you know, the 2 top teams, you know, those are grade A teams, we call them, you know, into the round of 16. Will Nigeria be among the lucky 4 that will join the group? That's exactly what we are looking at, and of course waiting. But unfortunately, Asisa Doshola and Chidema Okeke, was it Chidema that got a red card yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, Chidema Okeke got a red card, and we saw that Asisa Doshola also hobbled off the pitch. And these are very influential players in the Super Falcons. And if they scale through after the long wait, if they scale through, do you think without these influential players that Nigeria can withstand the ferocity of perhaps the German machines, as it were, or the Italian mafia, as we call them in football.
Yeah, story. If Mo Salah was not injured, nobody would have known that Origi will come out. So let me expect that even though Chidinma got a red card, of course she's definitely out of it. But I don't think Oshoala is out, because from the news I got from camp this morning, it was not a big injury. It was not a major one that can see her out of the team. So I think the physios and the medical team will work on her before the next match if they pull through after the parents. I don't doubt. So, but I don't think Oshoala is out of it completely. But again, see, Tony, injuries are meant to happen in football, and that is why every team should have the reserve should be as good as the first team, so that when a player is out, another one comes in. It happens like that. Most times, players who are on the bench have seen everything, and because they will be looking from there, then when they come in, they know what to do. That is why Liverpool overran Barcelona 3 goals down in the first leg to come back to win 4-0 in the second leg. It's not mean feat. So, and it's because they had a good bench. That was what happened. So I believe that the Super Falcons have good players that will still make up. So you see, because the ones on the bench are even younger, so they have the strength and stamina. They have that to carry on from where the other players are, because the other players are aging really. So the NB should be able to bring in the younger one once in a while to really give the opponents a push.
Okay, that we've seen all the players. Pat is talking about the aging of some of these players, and I agree totally with him. Because the younger the players, the better, and of course the fitter they are. And talk about Chiamaka Nadoze. Is she related to our own man Nadoze? People keep asking me Nadoze. The girl was absolutely fantastic.
Well, only Ima will not be able to answer that question because maybe it's a name coincidence. So, but she did very well, and to me, I think what they needed yesterday was a little pep from the coach. If they are giving them that little pep, maybe the French team will not be celebrating. But I don't think the entire French team or France who were at the stadium yesterday to cheer their team will be too happy that their team defeated the Super Falcons by a scrappy goal.
But I must also say here that 4 of the star players of the French national team were arrested.
I know, yes, but you see, even they are arrested, like I said, they were arrested, but the players still did well. What is guaranteed that even those star teams, star players, when they come in, they have done better. So that is always a team is a team, whether you're a star or you're in the reserve. If you are beating them yesterday, would they say they are French players, they are arresting their players? No. They would say the national team of France was beating. So that's it for me. But like, from what I get, it's like the red card was not okay.
Yes, it was Ngozi Ebere. Ngozi Ebere was the one that got that red card, and to tell you that Ngozi Ebere played her part, and of course she's not going to be there if indeed Nigeria escapes through, to join the rest of the teams that are going into the round of 16. But all the same, we must say, that the Falcons have done well. Somebody just told me, if you say the Falcons have done well, how many goals did they score? That they were not scoring goals. And we all just saw that part. How many goals did they score? 2 goals.
Yes.
In a round of in a group of 4.
Chile has not scored any goal.
But we are not Chile.
I know. So, but you see, like what I'm trying to tell you that depends on the kind of game plan DNB had. Because if DNB comes to a World Cup trying to play defensive, I mean, if you don't attack, like yesterday, how many shots are goal did you get?
Yeah, but yesterday they were overwhelmed. They were overwhelmed. I was even happy that they could soak up that pressure, because the tension was so much. The pressure, they were piling these pressures incessantly, and the Nigerian team, surprised me by at least, weathering the storm, and of course, keeping them low until that fortunate or unfortunate penalty, and of course the VAR decision, comes into play.
Well, like I said, you see, if you don't make any attempt, you won't score. Because even the 2 goals we scored that was credited to Nigeria, one was an own goal. So the only goal we have actually scored is the 1 goal that Zach scored. So I think the coach didn't get it right in maybe in his choice of attackers for the team. So because if everything is resting on Oshoala and she's not performing, then we can't score goals. So I think he has to bring a very fast attacker who can take the defenders on the run, and that's the only way we can cause confusion in the 18. Either get a penalty, get a deflection, or get a good goal.
And part questions are being asked. This is the very first quality exposure the Super Falcons got before the World Cup. So what exactly did they do throughout all this time they were trying out things? I'm talking about the technical bench now.
I don't know whether they had a close camp, because if you have a close camp, then that means you have already chosen your team. So even anything you discover there will still be around that same thing. But if they had an open camp, because you see, I see praise somebody like Faniamu. When Faniamu was a coach, he opened his camp for a very long time, and he played several matches. He was able to get players from different departments all through for something matches he played. So from then on, he will now select his team before coming to get the finalists. But when you already make up your mind that these are the team I'm taking, and you take those same team to training, then you may not have enough opportunity to get new players who maybe be new discovery, or who players other teams have not known before, and they spring surprises. So I think that was what was lacking. They actually got quality preparation and long-term preparation given by the FA. This is the first time, because they always cry that they don't.
But will you say that the Super Falcons have done well if they crash out in at this stage, or if they progress into the round of 16?
Well, because to me, if what we're expecting them, we always come crashing out at this stage, second round, first round. The same thing with Super Eagles. We have gone to second round. We expect our team to be getting to the quarterfinal this time. So I wouldn't say they have done their best, but the best is not good enough for Nigeria. That's the absolute truth I want to tell you. Because by now we should be talking about we are African champion, perpetual African champion. Only twice have we lost the crown. So if by now we can't get to the quarterfinal or semi-final of the World Cup, then I don't think we have done too well.
Okay, that's its analysis from Patrick Omorodo, coming to you from Vanguard Live, and we are extracting all the major stories that are trending in Nigeria. And days to the African Cup of Nations, Patrick, there are so many things, so many stories happening. But before that, let's also quickly tell you that French legend Michel Platini, yes, Michel Platini, the one that you know, is in custody as we speak now. He was arrested by the French security men in connection with the 2022 World Cup that was awarded to Qatar. But Platini, it's an endless thing. The World Cup is coming up in Qatar. FIFA has not changed, and of course FIFA has not left these people to be. And it was also because of this investigation that cost Platini, the FIFA presidency.
Yes, that is so. I've always said that the football business, football administration all over the world. To me, I still see it as a mafia thing, but mafia. If you want to be mafia and you play clean, nobody will come for you, because if you form a clique, and want to organize and we administer football well, nobody will query us. But by the time you start adding criminal elements into it, then that's where your problem comes. So Platini is somebody to respect a lot, because he played the game and he was doing so well. Even as UEFA president, he did well. When people were expecting him to step into the shoes of Blatter, suddenly this fraud thing came about and he lost everything, and they are still after him today. So it's unfortunate that people have to, at times may be a good man, but association with some people, some bad people, will lure you, and at times when the thing is exposed, they won't say you took just half. Everything, but whether it's half or not,
everything will be attributed to you.
So that's what happened. So it's a pity, unfortunately for Platini.
Okay, you're still on to Vanguard Live, and of course, Patrick and I were just looking at all the trending stories. Let's tell you, 2 days to the African Cup of Nations out there in the land of the Pharaohs, and of course, Nigeria is already seated, and we are looking at their group opponents. Nigeria will be opening with Burundi, one of the teams, African teams that are just making their debut, and that match, people are saying that Nigeria should have a goal feast. But let's tell you that Egypt coach Javier Aguirre, has vowed that he will quit if the Pharaohs of Egypt do not carry the African Cup of Nations. But as in, when I listened to Yavie talking yesterday with so much confidence, with so much passion, the man says if he as a coach, he will guide the Pharaohs in this Nations Cup and they don't win the African Cup of Nations, that he will quit. What a coach, Pat.
Well, he doesn't have any choice but to make such things, because the Egyptians are expecting too much from him, because they are always hosting to win. They've done it before, so there's no new thing he will come and do for them if not to win the competition. Because when they hosted 86, they won. When they hosted 59 or so, they won. So they've always been winning as hosts. So they expect that it should be different this time. So the man knows that if he doesn't win, then it's good. So he has to announce it early, that if you don't win, don't wait for me to resign. I will resign on my own and go. So I think that's what is. But that one will also give him that the verb to really push the players on. Say, look, you are hosting, because he will always be telling them that, look, you are hosting. Let us do our best to ensure that we don't disappoint our people. So I think that is a way of telling the players, look, it's a serious business. We have to do this time around. So I expect him to do that.
Okay, but do we expect that from Genetro? Do you expect that Genetro can come up to say that if Nigeria do not win the African Cup of Nations, I will quit? Because I've really been listening to him. He's always talking about, I don't know if he's playing a mind game, saying that Nigeria is not among the teams that are expected to win the African Cup of Nations. My team is always, a team in progress. For how long, Pat, are we going to be team in progress? This Genetro took this team to Russia World Cup, and of course he has the benefits of almost about 6 players or 7, that played in the Russia World Cup that are also still in this team. I think talk about the team that he knows.
I think the man is just preparing the ground for excuses, because if he doesn't win or they crash out, then he will say, I said it, I don't have a good team. But you told us that these are the best crop of players you can find from Nigeria. So we expect that since you selected the team, you'll be able to think at them very well, to be able to go very far into the competition. Because like I said, we have never gone to North Africa without coming back with a medal, except in 22 when we, as defending champions, we went to Libya 82, we crashed out in the first round. But that's the only time. Even in 86, when Egypt hosted the game, we were not there because we didn't qualify. But every other time, the cup has been in Tunisia, in Egypt, North Africa. Yes. We always come back with a medal. In 1994, we went there, we won a gold medal. In 2004, in Tunisia, again, we went and we crashed out in the semi-final, but we came back with a bronze. In 2006 in Egypt, we came back with a bronze, a silver, no, a bronze, because we lost to Cote d'Ivoire in the semi-final. Then we also came back with a silver in Morocco in 88, and we came back with a silver in Algeria in 1990. So we've never gone to North Africa without coming back with a medal. So I think to me, the message to Genetro is that come back with a medal. We don't want any excuse. Whether you say you have a headache of selection, that's not a problem. But go and come back. That's the only time we appreciate that he has done well. Because if he goes and crashes out in second round, first round or second round, it's going to be a disaster. Because
no matter the color of
the medal. Because because if you get to that medal stage, then after there anything can happen. You can as well go all the hog and win the gold medal.
Okay, looking at the African Cup of Nations days, to the beginning of the African Cup of Nations, where the best of African legs plying their trade in the best leagues in the world will be converging, in Egypt, to play the best of African football. There are going to be so many people from all walks of life who are already trooping into Egypt, and of course our own Patrick Omorode, who is here with me, is going to cover the African Cup of Nations, not only for Vanguard but for Vanguard Live. And Patrick Omorode, trust him that when he travels, of course, he's going to do a lot. Things that you will never see in any other newspaper, or things that you never ever see, because on Vanguard Live we bring you images, and Patrick Omorode has promised that he is going to comb Egypt and of course go deeper into the pyramids and of course the social lives of Egyptians. But
Tony, if I want to go to the pyramids, I need the security, because I don't not want some of those people. Just like when people come to Nigeria, they are afraid, they don't know where the bad ends and so on. But I assure you that since it's going to be a football festival, even the hooligans will go on break. I don't think they will be able to harm anybody. So, but like you said, we should be able to comb the crannies and the nooks of Cairo, Ismailia, because that we are starting from Ismailia, to be able to get our readers in Vanguard and viewers on Vanguard Live the best for them to really cheer up. Because I mean, it's our nation's cup, it's our team Super Eagles, so I don't think we should give them little, we should give them the best.
Okay, that's a promise that Patrick Morodo is making, and Pat remains one person that when he makes a promise, he keeps to it. That's a promise that Patrick is going to keep. But Pat, let us also look at Alex Iwobi, one of the very fine players of Arsenal. Arsenal didn't do so well, in the season gone by, but Alex Iwobi says he is fully concentrated on the Super Eagles, and that for him, the African Cup of Nations, he treats it as war, and that's how his mindset has been, and of course, he's not going to settle down until Nigeria, go through perhaps to the final. Alex Iwobi.
Tony, it's not every Arsenal player that has been to the World Cup, but through Super Eagles, Iwobi was able to make the World Cup, and you see how he was celebrated back in England. So I still believe that this Nations Cup is another avenue for Alex to make hay and boost his confidence, boost his ratings back in England, because all Arsenal fans everywhere, even the management, they'll be looking up to him to see how their reward will perform. And I don't think Alex will want to do less, but he will want to impress, to be able to get back his rating, because somehow they've been criticizing him every time that he doesn't live up to the billing. So, but I think this is an opportunity for him to get back to the rating, to get back his rating, and show them that, look, even though people are criticizing me, I'm back, and I think I will lift Arsenal from being a Thursday football team to maybe playing the Champions League next time. So I think this is an opportunity for him to really shine, because you see, any of our players who play in England, anytime they come to the Nations Cup, they want to play well, because back in England, some coaches want to bench them, which is not supposed to be. But if you do well, I don't think any player goes to the Nations Cup and does well, no right-thinking coach will put him on the bench. They want to put him and let him perform what they saw him perform in the Nations Cup. So this is an opportunity for Alex to explode.
Okay, we're still on Vanguard Live. Time is always against us anytime we talk sports, on a show like this. But let's also quickly go into transfer market. That's what is trending everywhere now. But let's tell you that Neymar is always having problems, but too many problems off the pitch, and even on the pitch, we've seen him since he left Barcelona, joined Paris Saint-Germain, and it's as if his problems have been multiplied. The president of PSG, even had to say that nobody forced him to sign a contract. That was an indication that if you want to leave, the door is ajar for you to leave.
I mean, that is the right advice to give to him, because you can't keep troubling a team because you think you are the best, you think you have everything. But who asked him to leave Barcelona? Because see, if Neymar thought that Messi was blocking him, so who asked him to leave? Because if you know that you are good, I was expecting him to prove himself and do better than Messi, so that the focus will be on both of them, not allowing Messi to take the shine every time. And we thought that by leaving Barcelona and going elsewhere, that he was going to explode. Now he got to PSG. What happened?
They couldn't even qualify.
No,
for the Champions League final.
So he's always giving himself unnecessary pressure. So that is why you don't force yourself to make. That's why they say that. Say if you jump up, you drop. But if you grow up, you remain there. So I think Neymar should try and grow up and live. You don't have to jump to become a star. Make it gradual. His compatriot Pele was 17, and he became a world star, not by anything, but because of hard work and discipline. So let Neymar play down on his social life. Forget about clubbing and all this and concentrate. Look at his friends. Look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a disciplined player. If he's not with his family, his training is in the gym.
But I was coming to ask you, if it's ego, if it's the ego, because since Neymar came into PSG, there's been a lot of things, and of course, the PSG president was saying that he signed a player and not a Hollywood star. That there should be everything should be there should be concentration in the camp and not outside the camp. that he doesn't care what you do with their life, but so far as you are here, you're being paid huge wages, then you should concentrate. And then talk about concentration, we have Kylian Mbappe, who equally is a poster boy. I think that almost all players have their egos, but then it depends on how one manages his own. You talked about Cristiano Ronaldo. At that age, Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing top football, so as Messi. And these people are ahead of him in all statistics, and yet they are bent on playing. And it's not as if Neymar is one that comes to play and score goals all the time. Then you say, okay, let's manage him with his ego.
I think what happened to Neymar, maybe his people, the Brazilians, they had to put him as a new Ronaldo. I mean, you're Ronaldo, not Ronaldo de Lima.
Yeah.
And they were thinking that this is a new Ronaldo from Brazil that is going to bring the surprises and perform like the true Brazilian and take the world by storm. But unfortunately, it's like it got into his head that they are already placing him to be the world best, and I think maybe he was thinking that it was going to come without hard work, and by adding a little bit of showbiz, club life, and all those things to it, it made him. It really affected his play, and his attitude matters a lot. If you don't concentrate on what you're doing, you get distracted, and at the end of the day, it's going to affect you negatively. So that's what's happened to Neymar. But you see, like Ronaldo and Messi, those ones are family men and discipline. If Messi wants to cool down, Neymar wants to cool down, let him go and get a wife. Not all these girlfriends running up and down. Girlfriends will distract you. They won't. Not every wife will want to be everywhere. But you see, the ones that have family, when they are on break, they have their children, or their wife, or their family. Look at Ronaldo carries his family everywhere. On holidays, even when they play, they are somewhere because the family will. Because he sees them as people who cherish him, who monitor him, who tells him where he's wrong and where he's right. But if you don't have anybody around you telling you your mistakes,
you'll be attracted to the clubs, clubbing, and then myriads of beautiful women.
That's it.
And then it equally provokes all these allegations of rape.
And they know that as a star, the women will come to you. You are just like honey. The bees will come and want to suck. So I think that they want to get part of their money, so they always come in different guises. And if you don't, he should know now. He plays professional football in Europe, where all these women, they know. They did it to Tyson, they did it to so many people. That's why my brother, I like Eddie Murphy. The guy knows that the woman will come for his money, so he has remained his own self. He said he doesn't want to get married. Maybe he will have children, but nobody will be calling his wife. So I think that's where Neymar is getting it wrong. Neymar should settle down and allow all these hangers on to live his life and let him concentrate on football. He's a good player, to know that, but if you are not disciplined, my brother, you won't go far.
Wow, how time flies, and exactly that's how we're going to drop anchor today. But let's just tell you that if you have not gotten, most of the things we said today, the best and the shortest way for you to get them is through Vanguard, and of course, Sports Vanguard. That's where you get the best of stories. Here we've just seen, where we even speak French, bringing people very close to the team. And of course, every other thing you want to know about the African Cup of Nations in Egypt, if you go to Vanguard, it's your shortest bet. And of course, a partner that you always have, to monitor events. As Patrick travels, I will be here. And of course, I'll be doing justice, coordinating and getting all the things. Of course, bringing some other people who understand the rule of the game to come and interpret them and of course analyze things. It's been our pleasure just coming and of course bringing you this. The Super Falcons, they are still waiting, and then by Thursday, whatever happens, be sure that on Vanguard Live we are going to get the real gist. And Patrick Omorodo, that's how I say or bring this program to a close.
I want to pray for Falcon because I know they are very good prayer warriors. So they're always dancing and singing. And I know by now the prayer session will be on. And I believe that God does not disappoint his people. So let's look forward to Falcons scaling through.
Okay, like we always say here, Nigerians pray so that the Super Falcons can play.